How to become fluent in English. Lots of students have been asking me in the survey these past few weeks how to learn English, see progress, and become fluent. So let's look at what fluency means. What are the levels of fluency? According to the Common European Framework Reference, which is a popular reference for language fluencies, and many tests are based on this framework, we have 6 levels. These levels are basic users at A1, A2, independent users at B1 and B2, and then proficient users at C1, C2, which is near native like fluency, and C2 is basically like academic level where you could study or teach at a university and be very, very proficient. Now, the next question that comes to mind that students always ask is, well, how long is it going to take me to become fluent? And that's a very good question. So the best way to answer this is through the use of hours of study time. If you look on certain websites like Wikipedia, they will tell you how long it will take you to reach each level. So for example, if you don't know any English and you begin studying, it'll take you about 100 hours of study time to reach level A1. Then it'll take you about another 100 hours to reach level A2. Then from A2 to B2, it'll take you about 200 hours. Another 200 to reach level B2, another 200 to reach level C1, and then for you to reach level C1 to go to C2, it'll take you approximately 400 hours of study time. Now this depends on your learning abilities, your motivation, and also the language that you speak as your mother tongue. It would probably be easier for someone who speaks German to learn English than someone who speaks, say, Chinese, for example, because it's a totally different language root. So all told, you could possibly go from level A1 to C2 in about 1,200 hours of study time. Okay? So that's just to give you an idea. Now, in making progress, let's close this down here. If you want to see your progress when you're learning, then the first thing you need to do is evaluate your current level. Take some kind of test, get an evaluation, ask a teacher or someone to evaluate your level, or there's even tests that do this online. Once you know what your level is, let's say you're at level B1, and you want to reach level C2, then you would choose your next goal, which would be level C2. So you know that you would need approximately 1,000 hours of study time to reach that level. Or if you were at level B2 and you wanted to reach level C1, you would know that you needed to study approximately 200 hours. So choose your goal, decide how many hours it'll take you to get there. Diagnose any specific problems that you have. Are you having problems learning and retaining vocabulary? Are you having difficulty with your pronunciation? So once you know what your next goal is and what you need to get there, then create a plan. What are you going to do? Are you going to study audio lessons, take an online course, classes, get some tutoring? All of these things are good. These will help you reach your goal. And obviously, the more you study, the more intensively you study, the faster you can reach that level. So for example, if you study 15 minutes per day, it will take you longer to reach that level than if you studied 8 hours every day. So if you study 1 hour every day, you could go from level A1 to C2 in about 3 years. If you studied 4 hours a day, you could possibly go from level A1 to C2 in 1 year. So it really depends on how intensively you study and what your goals are. Now, that doesn't mean you have to reach level C2. For many students, just reaching level B2 will be sufficient. So it depends on what your motivation is, why you want to learn English. So once you know where you're at, you've done a diagnostic test, an evaluation, you know what the next level is that you want to reach, then you can create a plan to achieve it. So you can sign up in a school, you can take private classes with a tutor to work on specific problems, you can study online courses, study material on your own. And I actually recommend an integrated learning system. One problem students have is that they develop one specific skill and they don't develop all their skills. So usually students can read well, but they have difficulty speaking, or they can understand what they hear, but they can't write. So it's important to have an integrated learning system where you develop all 8 skills. We'll talk more about that in the next video. And then of course, begin speaking. Another problem that students have is that they do what their teachers tell them to, or they follow the footsteps of their friends. And unfortunately, most English teachers, although their English is very good and they have nice courses, they have never actually learned a new language themselves. So they don't understand the difficulty, the psychology behind what you need to begin speaking. And if you do what your friends are doing, you just sign up for a course. Most students want a magic formula, a revolutionary new method, a secret trick to begin speaking, but it doesn't work that way. You have to learn like a child. You learn a little bit and you practice it and you practice it. You have to practice a lot and develop your skills. And as you speak, you will begin to see what you need to learn next, and then you go learn that. So if you want to learn English and not be like the 96% of English students who fail, unfortunately, statistically, 96% of the students who study a new language will never become fluent. So if you want to become like the 4%, the successful English students, the fluent speakers, the mavens, who are polyglots, people who learn more than one language successfully and are fluent, then you need to follow in their footsteps. Follow blogs. People like Benny, the Irish polyglot from Fluent in 3 months, Luca, Ali, and many other polyglots. So follow their blogs, see what they do, what they recommend, how to begin speaking, and begin speaking right away. Now in speaking, in another video, we'll talk about developing your personal English network, how to develop a group of people who you can speak English with every day. Okay, so that's it. I hope you found this video helpful on how to become fluent in English. And in future videos, we'll talk about how to develop all your skills effectively and how to begin speaking and developing your fluency.